So what's up with the Tower of Babel anyway? We probably have all heard about the Tower of Babel. People came together, built this tower, tried to make a name for themselves, get up to heaven. God comes down, confuses the language, and now you have to learn French. Fitting punishment, I would say. But what happened in Genesis 11? Well, in Genesis 11, what happened is, after this great flood on earth, people, instead of going and subduing the earth and ruling over it like God told us to, decided that instead, we're all going to get together, build a tower, and invade heaven. That's what Genesis 11 and the Tower of Babel is all about. God looks from heaven and he comes down and he's very upset with us. And he says in Genesis 11, verse 7, "Come, let us go down and confuse their languages so that they may not understand one another's speech." And so the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of the entire earth. And they left off building the city, and therefore they called the place Babel, which sounds like the Hebrew word for confusion. Babel sounds like confusion in Hebrew. God was upset because as one language, people tried to storm heaven and make a name for themselves. Their evil would know no bounds. So God's solution was create all these different languages and disperse people around the face of the earth. Now, I was kind of joking about French. I know that languages evolve over time. Just look at English. We don't speak Elizabethan English any longer. But the concept of languages, the concept of people groups and nations and tribes and tongues comes as a check on this runaway evil that is in our hearts. But the world we live in now is kind of a reverse of Babel. All we hear about these days is globalization and globalism. What's interesting is everything we hear about globalism is good, everything we hear about nationalism is bad, but very rarely is there any reason attached to either. Now, not everything about globalization is bad. Technology is a wonderful thing, and being able to communicate across the globe is a wonderful thing. Neither is everything about nationalism bad. But it all goes back to the Tower of Babel. When we tried to be one language, one people, the inclination of our hearts was to storm the gates of heaven by building a tower. God himself separated us into different people groups. God himself gave us this gift of language. He made us distinct and diverse for a reason. And there is goodness in that as we discover the differences among us. We can be united, but we are united in our diversity. And that's the way God intended it. It's not always true that globalism is good and nationalism is bad. Diversity is also a good thing. It's the church, however, that needs to maintain the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. It's the church that has the one Lord, one Spirit, one baptism. We are one people, united in Jesus Christ. It's the opposite of what we see in the world. That's what we learn from the Tower of Babel.